welcome to this program. Very happy to see you in here. We're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to add arpeggios to our blues scale. And there's a variety of ways in which we can do this. We got basically 3 chords, right, in our basic blues. We got the, in this case, we're in the key of E. So we got the E dominant 7th chord. Then we got the A dominant 7th chord again, the major dominant 7th, and then the E. And then the B dominant 7, and then the A, and then the E, right? 3 chords. And we can put arpeggios on top of each one of them. That's what we can follow the chords around. That's the most challenging task, but I'm going to give you a simple way of doing that in this lesson. Next lesson, we're going to look into minor 7th flat 5 arpeggios. We're going to look at diminished arpeggios and minor arpeggios. So we got all these cool things that we can add to the blues scale, within the blues scale, and expand the blues scale with these arpeggios. So this gives us so many options that it's very hard to be uninspired when you play. So the first thing we're going to look at is dominant 7th arpeggios. And we're just going to focus on the first chord for this lesson. Because then every time you hear the blues, and you go download the jam track, I should say, and the charts for this lesson, so you can follow along as I teach you this or tell you about this. You might know some of this already, but please stick with me because I think you'll find some insights about how to practice this so it becomes a reality in your playing right away, like instantly, as we're looking at this. So go download the jam track. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link below the video, go to the website, type in your email, and you'll start it. You got your access to the video, and you can download this video and the tabs and the charts and the jam track. Okay, so we're going to focus, in this case, on the first chord out of the 3, the E dominant 7. And if you look at the blues scale, it doesn't really fit that chord, which is the magic of blues, right? You got the root note of E in the blues scale, and then you got a minor 3rd in the scale, which is totally dissonant to the, it's like, that's the interval. Sounds awful, right? So this is the chord you got in the background. And then if you play the second note in the blues scale, E blues scale, which is the scale we use for improvising over this chord, you get this sound. Right? That's awful. That's torture, really, right? But that's how the blues scale is. The blue note in the blues scale isn't the only note that's blue. It's like... That's the blue note, right? We bend it up and it becomes harmony because that's the major 3rd, right? So what we're going to do is, because the blues, the 12-bar blues, has a lot of E in it, the first stage that you're going to practice is staying with the E. So every time the E chord is being played in the background out of the 3 chords, you are going to focus on that arpeggio and use that. And then the next stage is to add the next arpeggio on the next chord. Right? But please be sure to focus on one thing and say, okay, what would happen to my playing if every time I heard the first chord in a blues, 12-bar blues, I could just, expand it with that. That would, that's at least half the time that you're playing. That would mean a huge increase in skill and the sound you can produce when you play. So focus on that first. Master that first chord to the point where it's easy. And I really mean that. Don't go, I have to follow the next and then go to the next chord. You can take that next step of also playing the A dominant 7, because that's what we're going to do. We got the E dominant 7 chord, and over there we're going to add, we're just simply going to play the notes of the chord in the background and mix those with the blues scale. This is the arpeggio. This is mixing it. It sounds like the chord, right? If I were to change it and say, okay, now I'm going to use the blues scale, but I'm going to use it over the A dominant 7, the second chord in the blues, it will sound something like this. And then the tonic again, the E dominant 7. right? So we actually reflect the sound of the chord in the background when we do this. But focus on the first chord, right, before you go on to the other chords. That's the way to get quick results, instant results, and implement that into your playing. Then go on to the next chord. Now we're going to go close up here, and I'm going to show you a couple of shapes that I really like. Laid out in a specific way across the blues scale shape. And then you are going to start using this instantly, because it only takes you a couple of minutes to learn the shape, and then it takes you another minute to start using a formula that I'm going to give you of how to create cool lines that mix the blues scale with the arpeggio shape. So let's get started. Come closer. If you're familiar with any of my other work, you know I really like 2-1-2 shapes when it comes to our 4-note arpeggios. And in this case, we're going to lay these 2-1-2 shape arpeggios out on top of the first position blues scale shape, which we have here in the 12th fret in the case of E. And please look in the charts. Go download them if you haven't already done so. So we're going to do 2 5-string shapes, and that's the way I like to lay them out there on the fretboard, because it enables me to have the same picking patterns every single time I play them, because they got the same number of notes on the fretboard, so I can do the same picking, and I can sequence the arpeggios as well, and that's the same picking pattern. So I really save a lot of time by doing that. But let's do it. Let's say, okay, we got 3 different chords here, right? But we're just going to focus on the first chord in this session. And then you can always take the other chords. And please note that you can start in just one little area and master that and really change your whole, because if you spend like 70% of your time in this first position blues scale shape, it means that if you learn one arpeggio over one of the chords and you really master it, 70% of the time you'll be able to play that. If you then deduct the other chords, then perhaps 50% of your time, right? So let's lay them out. The first one, we got the blues scale here in the 12th fret, right? Then we got the first arpeggio shape, which would be the notes of the E dominant 7th arpeggio or chord. We got the 12th fret, the 16th fret, and we're already out of the blues scale there because the blues scale note is right there in the 15th fret. So we got up to the 16th here. Then we go to the 14th fret on the A string, so we got 2 notes here. We got 1 note there in the 14th fret A string, then 12 and 14 on the D string. Alright, then we got the a note there, the major 7th again, or major 3rd, sorry, in the 13th fret on the G string, and then 12 and 15 on the B. So let me just play that for you slowly. And the other way. Then I got another 5-note shape that starts on the A string. And when you combine these 2 shapes, you got a ton of arpeggio notes all over the place, and you got a way of playing them. Instead of, having a 6-note shape and you got some notes somewhere and 2 notes on one string and 1 note on the other, then by combining these 2 5-note shapes, you got such an amazing tool. So let's do the second one. And for this, we have to go up here in the 14th fret, play the 14th and the 17th on the A string. I'll explain why in a second. So 14 and 17 on the A string, then the 14th on the D string. Sorry, 14th there, so we got 2 notes there, 14 and 17. Second finger hits the 14th fret on the D string, then the 13th and the 16th on the G string, then the 15th on the B string, and then we got 2 notes on the high string, the E and the G sharp there. We got the 12th fret and the 16th fret. Let me play that for you slowly up. Sorry. And the other way. And if you combine these little 2-1-2 shape, you would be able to play the first 3 strings in this one, the first 2-1-2 shape, from the E string, right? If you look in the charts there. Okay, play the first shape there, not go up until, don't just play the first 3 strings. Then go to the second 5-string shape and play the first of that, right? And then you can play the second part of the first, which would be, from the D string. And then the second part of the first. Right? That would give you this. Right? Right? So first part of the first shape, first part of the second shape. Second part of the first shape, and then second part of the. So see how that you just have shapes everywhere now. You can really, no matter what string you're on, you can always find the next 2-1-2 shape. So they overlap and intertwine, and that's really the best tool available. So what do you do with these shapes? Because we got the blues scale shape. We can't just play, oh, that's a cool little sound, but it's not a lick or a line. So what I do is I create a little rule and say, okay, I'm just going to focus on the 3 top strings here. Well, we got the notes in the 12th and the 16th, and then the 15th fret on the B string, and the 13th and 16th on the G string. Right, I'm going to focus on that little area, and then first of all, the first step is to investigate. Okay, first string here. Oh, we got that in the blues scale. Oh, that's the arpeggio. It looks like this. This is the scale. Okay, next string. Oh, we got the B string there. Okay, so the arpeggio note is right there. All right, on this string we got. That's the blues scale. This is the arpeggio. So I just create a little system, take every single string, and then play a couple of notes, and then end on the arpeggio note. So I go, right, how hard is that, right? I just go back and forth between 2 blues scale notes, and then I end on the arpeggio note. But it's a lick, right? I can do the same thing on this one, where I have the scale notes right here, but this is also the arpeggio note, so I can bend up to that arpeggio note. Right, I can go. Right? Then we got. Right? I'll just play up and down from the G string. These are the blues scale note. Play up and down, and then play the 2 arpeggio notes. Right? Just if I got it like a G dominant 7th in the background here, and if I just played what I played. Right? So I play a couple of notes from the scale, and then I end on the arpeggio note. Try that again. And you can play any lick you know already, like. Right? So that works so well, because what you're really aiming at here are the notes of the chord in the background. But focus on 1 string at a time, and then really don't go for all 5 strings, because you'll just, get it. There's too much, and it increases exponentially. The challenge increases exponentially as you add another string. And so you reach a point where you have so much in your mind that it's impossible to take it all in. You have no focus, and you're learning extremely slowly. So focus on 1 string at a time, then do 3 strings. And you see if you can create multiple lines that cover more strings. Right? Like instead of covering only 1 string or 2 strings, you go the whole arpeggio. Just playing the arpeggio, ending with a bend from a blues scale note. Okay? Right. Okay, so let's just come up with a couple of lines. I'm going to use all the shapes you just saw here, But I'm just going to come up with a couple of lines following this little system of taking a couple of blues scale notes, then ending in the arpeggio. Or the other way around, taking the arpeggio, then blues scale, then arpeggio. But it's basically a matter of, in your mind, going from blues scale. Also, you can connect notes by just doing chromatic. So if I got like 2 arpeggio notes up here, right, I can just connect these 2 arpeggio notes. Go back to the first and then bend a random note that I really like to bend in the blues scale, right? Got 2 arpeggio notes there on the G string. Blues scale notes here, so I could go, right? Just connecting the 2 arpeggio notes starting on a blues scale. Right? So let's come up with a couple of licks here. And, perhaps a little bit more advanced. So where I go like... and there are no tabs for these, so please carefully listen. And you can learn these right away. Remember them. And then note where you are in the video so you can go back and learn the other ones. So let's see if I can do it again. Right? Again, so I bend the note in the 15th fret, up, and then I hit the 12th fret, right? Then I hit the 15th fret, which is a blues scale note. Then the 16th note on the same 16th fret on the same string. Right? Pulling off, pick, pull off, down to the 12th fret again. Then I hit the 15th fret, B string, 12th fret, E string, all the way down to the 16th fret on the G string now. Then 15th fret, B string again. And then I go for the 12th fret and slide that up 1 fret on the G string. I could also bend it, and then down to the 14th fret on the G string. So let me play that slowly for you. Alright, let's try another one all the way. Alright, I'm just going to use the 2-1-2 shape. I'll put up, 12th fret, up, D string. Let me just play it for you slowly. Alright, so you take the arpeggio. This is now the 2-1-2 shape. We've got the 12th and 14th on the D, 13 on the G, and 12 and 15 on the B. And I simply just go up, pick stroke, down, 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 up. All right, so up, 12, down, 14, down, 13 G, down, 12 B. Then I pick the note in the 15th fret with an upstroke. So there's a little sweep here. Then I fret the note with my 3rd finger, supporting it with the 2nd behind, and bend it up. And then I stop it there at the top of the bend with my pick/hand fingers. Then I hit the 12th fret, staccato, stop it again, and then I fret the note in the 15th fret with my 2 fingers here, the 3rd and the 2nd. Bend it up, stop the note, bring it down again, and then pick it and bend it up slowly. Slowly. Right, again. Let's see if I can remember what I play. Okay. Right? Let's do one more. Let me see, what can we do here? We can go... let's do some chromatics here. Okay, you connect the two. We got this 2-1-2 shape, 12 and 16 on the high E, 15th on the B. We got the 13th and the 16th on the G. Right, I connect the two notes on the G string with chromatics, so 13, 14, 15, 16. Play the lonely note on the B string by itself in the 15th fret. And because I only have 4 fingers, I'm just going to pick the 4 really cool notes here. I got the 12th fret on the high E string, then 14, 15, and 16. Right? Once I'm up there, I'm going to pull them all down again, or pull them off again. So I let that hang, and then B. From here, I pick the note in the 15th fret, slide it up to the blue note in the 18th fret, then back to the 15th fret with my first finger, bend that a little bit out of tune, stop it at the top of the band, hit the root note in the 17th fret on the B string, right? I don't tune it. Right. So, let's just quickly, one more. Let's see if I can expand that. Let's just take it from down here. Again, it's just blues scale, pushing that note up to the arpeggio note, then going on, up the arpeggio, right? So 12th fret, low E string, 15th fret, push it up to the 16th fret, then hit the 14th fret on the A string, then take the 12th fret D string and the 14th fret D string and connect them with the chromatic, so I get 12, 13, and 15, 14, sorry. So, right, so blues scale, arpeggio, connecting chromatically to arpeggio notes, and then back into the blues scale again. Continue yourself. Do these things. Connect. Try to combine them. Just stay with a few notes in the beginning and then expand. So now is the time to create a real result. What is that? That's a thing that you've been practicing that you can never forget. It's a thing that you've been practicing that you turn from difficult to super easy to effortless. That is aiming for mastery right away. How do we do that? Well, instead of practicing 5-string arpeggios, trying to mix that with your first position blues scale shape, and over all 3 chords, changing arpeggio every other bar. Then you take 1 arpeggio shape on 1 string in the first position blues scale shape over one of these chords. And every time that chord comes by in the chord progression, practice using that extra arpeggio notes on 1 string only. That's so easy, Claus. Yes, that's the whole point, right? You take something so small that you can then practice it over and over again, make it super effortless, then add another little thing, right? So you knock it down, you win through all the time. Every single time you sit down to practice, you got a new result, right? It's there. It's in your fingers. It's effortless. That's mastery, and you can do that today. It's not next month or next week. It's creating a result. You know, how small should the result be for you to absolutely master it in like 10 minutes or a day, right? And then you just focus on that. Put on the jam track, start playing on 1 string, and the other strings are just your old blues scale, right? Then add another string, another arpeggio, another little piece of the arpeggio shape. Focus on it, and when you're good at it, you just keep hammering away at it, right? Okay, I got the first 3 strings down. Right, pretty cool. Don't go on to something new. Stay with those 3 strings and hammer away at them until it's so, come up with new lines, see if you can get even more out of them. So you go from good to absolutely outstandingly excellent, right? That's the way you want to aim for that point right away. So that's where you end up. That's the only way of ending up at the level of mastery when it comes to everything you do. instead of, nudging a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So you've been practicing, that dominant 7, the arpeggio shapes. You've been practicing all the 5-string shapes on all 3 chords with the first position blues scale shape, and you got nothing to show for it because you're insecure at everything you do. I'm not pointing fingers. That's how it was for me, right? So instead, take just 1 string, then 2 strings, then 3 strings over 1 chord, 1 position, 1 arpeggio shape, and then kill it, right? Get a result. And once you start doing that, and once you start thinking like that, there's nothing you can't do. So start practicing right now and get a result. And I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson tomorrow, where we're going to look at some new arpeggio shapes that are really going to give you a different kind of sound when you play.